So we have landed in London, this time on purpose because the last time I was in London it was by accident. And here we are. So we are here in London for Tudor. They have an event that we don't know enough about yet because they're not telling anybody, or rather we're not supposed to tell anybody. We're at the Sea Containers Hotel on the walk, basically London by the River Thames. I am waiting to get picked up by boat. I'm going to the tobacco docks to check out what Tudor has for the rest of the world. So we are here at Tobacco Dock. When this was a working dock, you'd be able to bring the ships up here. So why are we here in the dockyards of London? We are here at Tobacco Quay for Tudor. We are here because we're gonna get to play with toys like that. No, we're not. So this guy goes into his cabinet drawer and finds an old watch, an old Tudor. He brings it to the Tudor Service Center, who says it's a bit too old, bring it to a specialist. So he brought it to the specialist, and the specialist and another guy, specialist, enthusiast, was there, and they said, you know, this might be more interesting than you think it is. So they asked his friend at Tudor, who's also a friend of mine at Tudor. The end result was they went into their archives to find the data on that box, and on that watch, and what they found was a box full of data and no watch. It turns out this Oyster Tudor Prince was part of the British North Greenland expedition from 70 years ago. 70 years ago, just down the River Thames from where we are now, the British North Greenland expedition set off as the largest ever expedition into the northern ice. They were there to take samples, make geographic location maps, get data, and so on. And one of the key points for doing all this was actually timekeeping, because compasses don't really work that well when you're at the North Pole. So they needed timekeepers and timepieces to be able to properly find out where they are based on sun location, moon location, star location, and so on. Now this was a kind of a big deal at the time because remember, there was no such consistency. Now Hans Wilsdorf, who founded both Rolex and Tudor, was always into the support of this type of endeavor, and so they supported the British North Greenland exhibition with 5 pounds of watches. The watches that were sent along were around 30 or so pieces of the Tudor Oyster Prince. And so they spent 2 years in the Arctic. And that is what happened 70 years ago. And today, this is the anniversary of that event. And this is what Tudor is using to launch their latest expedition watch, the new Tudor Ranger. The new Tudor Ranger is a worthy successor to that first expedition watch. As a matter of fact, many people are already calling it the modern interpretation of the expedition watch. It is a manufacture movement with a 70-hour power reserve, and it has traditional details of the old Rangers, such as the large amount of lume on the 3, 6, 9, and 12, if there's no date, and what have become known as the Ranger hands. So the vision and passion of that first expedition continues on from that original Tudor Oyster Prince to the modern Tudor Ranger.